Religious wars have been a part of history since the day that humans decided to divide themselves amongst religious barriers and constructs. This would eventually lead to these civilizations trying to display the might of their gods or God through the use of force and violence on those who went against their beliefs. And unfortunately, the Crusades were no different, as this grey area of history caused a huge loss of life, forced displacement for many innocent civilians, and also a long-withstanding enmity between the Muslims and Christians. I find the Crusades to be a very interesting part of history, but for some reason there just seems to be hardly any films set in this backdrop. So I decided to go and do some research and create this list on my top 5 recommendations of movies taking place during the Crusades. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to my channel History Spark if you love anything to do with historical movies and historical TV shows. At number 5, it is The Crusaders, an Italian historical film which got released in 2001, and its direct-to-TV film flew under the radar during its release, and it's been pretty much forgotten about ever since then. But this is still a great low-budget film which has a unique plot set in the backdrop of the First Crusade, which was instigated by Pope Urban II. The story is told through the viewpoint of 3 friends from differing backgrounds who are keen to join the crusade and attain glory, redemption, and revenge against the enemies of Christ. Needless to say, things don't go as planned for the 3 friends, and the brutal realities of the crusade quickly begin to sink in. The Crusaders has a great plot with some fantastic plot twists, engaging characters, and it does an excellent job of portraying the difficulties and internal conflict that many people on the Crusades would have felt committing atrocities against innocent civilians. The acting in this film is subpar, and the movie screams B grade from its cinematography, set pieces, and casting choices. But this does not stop the Crusaders from being a great watch for any viewer looking to find out more about the First Crusade. At number 4, it is the Russell Crowe starring film Robin Hood, which although may not be a Crusade specific film, the events of the Crusades, especially the death of Richard the Lionheart, play a huge part in the setup of the film, especially in the first half of the movie. The beginning of the film finds Robin Hood participating in the Crusades and the horrors he experienced there affecting and shaping his life once he returns back to England. This is a really entertaining film with a strong cast of characters, especially the secondary cast who make up Robin's comrades in arms. The plot here is good and has actually got a nice twist to the usual Robin Hood story we are familiar with, and there are also some great fight scenes as well. Only criticism I do have here is that Russell Crowe mumbles half his lines and he has a terribly forced accent, which makes it even harder to understand what he's saying, so I definitely would recommend subtitles for this one, as Robin Hood is a great film that all historical fans with any sort of interest in the Crusades will really enjoy. At number 3, it is Saladin the Victorious, a classic historical war film from 1963 which focuses on the legendary Muslim general and conqueror Saladin. This film focuses on the Third Crusade, in which Saladin has already conquered Jerusalem and the Christian armies that are joining together to reclaim the Holy Land from the Muslims. I will say from the start that this is a hugely biased film and is really a one-sided film which does its best to make the Muslims look like the good guys and the Europeans seem like the evil villains. But if you're able to disregard the bias and historical inaccuracies of the film, you will find a movie here with great acting, an amazing storyline, and some fantastic battle scenes as well. As Saladin is a movie which is a tribute to what most call the golden age of cinema, and in which strong acting and storylines were the forces which carried a movie, and if someone has 3 hours to spare on an evening, then Saladin is definitely a historical adventure to consider. And the second spot on this list goes to Arn the Knight Templar, which is a fictional story based on a Knights Templar called Arn, if you couldn't decipher the clues from the movie's title. This is actually a 2-part film series which is based on the best-selling Crusades book series by Han Julio, which sees a fictional character named Arn who becomes a Knights Templar and is a witness or a catalyst to many real historical events, such as the Battle of Mount Gizzard and the Battle of Hattin. One thing I really loved about this film was the range of different languages spoken by the knights on crusade, which would have been accurate of the time as knights came from several diverse countries and backgrounds and would speak a range of languages. Arn the Knights Templar is also the most expensive film ever created in the history of Swedish cinema, and it is a fantastic feat of storytelling, cinematography, and also bringing a semi-accurate historical depiction of the Knights Templar and the Crusades to our screens. Definitely a strong recommendation from me. The top spot on this list goes to Kingdom of Heaven, which follows a semi-fictionalized portrayal of the life of Balian of Ibelin, who was a Crusader noble and the primary leader for the defense of the Christian-held Jerusalem during the siege of Jerusalem in 1187 against Saladin and his Muslim forces. This film has some A-list actors involved with the project such as Orlando Bloom, Liam Neeson, and Eva Green, so the acting is top tier and the battle scenes are also amazing with an intriguing and engaging plot as well. And although this movie may be historically inaccurate in a lot of ways, it does get a lot of things right. And the story about the defense of Jerusalem by a small Christian force against a massive Muslim army led by military genius Saladin is a fantastic story to tell and have brought to the big screen. And I feel like Kingdom of Heaven is a very underrated film and perhaps the best movie ever created about the Crusades. Lastly, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please do like and share this video with others. And if you haven't already, why not subscribe to my channel History Spark, as I post videos about historical movies and historical TV shows each and every week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.